What was that conversation like with Coach Lanning again? Because, like you said, or like I said, he recruited you early in high school, and then he came back around. I don't know how that whole process works, but what was it like seeing 3 years, even longer, possibly? He's still interested. He still want to talk to you. Probably still remembered you and the conversations you guys had.
Yeah, Coach Lanning, he's a special coach. Just simply on the fact that like it was more than just football always, especially in the recruiting period in high school. So when this opportunity presented itself again, it was just so funny, just feet on land back on campus, honestly. Just getting that feeling again, like, that sensation I had back from high school. With Coach Maringer, reaching back out. It was, a crazy day on the day I wound up, committing. Like that whole 48-hour process was insane. It's a whole story time for that. Um, but yeah, reconnecting with them, it's been great. I honestly feel like, this is somewhere where I feel home again. And that's what you look for when you're just looking for, somewhere to not only play college, but, excel in the classroom. And I feel like this is somewhere I definitely feel like home for the next 2 years.
Yeah, so I'm curious now. You mentioned the 48 hours was a whirlwind. What happened? You got to walk me through that. You can't not
So
do it.
yeah, I was in the portal for defensive end. I had some highlights up. A lot of people don't know I made the transition to DN my third year at Clemson. It was great being under Coach Rump. And I really appreciate him and Coach Sweeney for allowing me to do that. But wound up going into the portal for defensive end, and then I truly thought that like I was going to land somewhere and have an opportunity playing defensive end. So I wound up playing you like wound up going to visit UConn. Took a visit to UConn, took an OV, and then I get a call on that Thursday before like it's the opportunity that the transfer portal window closes on Friday. And then they just called and told me that, like we had some guys coming back in who were on the depth chart previously. Um, it was kind of very upsetting. I thought that was going to be the place for me, and
Oh,
then,
so this is
just
UConn. They called you and
yeah,
said, okay.
yeah. And then just somewhere I had cool connections with them. That staff is from Toledo. And then a lot of them are close to my brother who worked up there over in the media crew. Um, and it was kind of upsetting at the moment. Called my mom, and, just explain everything that happened, and she fully understood it. And she just told me, God got you, he's got a plan. She told me just stay level-headed, and keep your faith. And that's what I was doing. Pretty much just I was, I was then sending next thing I'm sending transcripts to Howard University, and I'm thinking it's gonna roll through with that. And then I sent a tweet out. I like said, I'm not committed to any school. And then Coach Maringer, he reached out. He was like, "Hey, bud, what's going on?" And then like it was like, "Yo, no way." And then get on the call with him, wind up connecting. And he's like, like how you been? Like, what's going on? And he's like, I have a kid who's, probably going to commit, but if he doesn't, I'll call you right back and I'll have a spot for you. It'll be at tight end. And this is just I was just like, Coach, like you got it. Honestly, like this is an opportunity that like from my natural, position, being an athlete, but just loving the game and tight end. Probably about 30 minutes go by and like I was talking to my girlfriend and I was just like, yeah, they like it's just too soon. Like it's not good news. That kid definitely committed. And then he called and he was like, just got off the phone with Coach Sweeney. He said he hates you. He said, no, I'm just playing. He said he loved you. And what I would love for you to, come be at your dream school. And then, it was crazy. Really a full circle moment.
Yeah.
Um, just I never question God. He never makes no mistakes, so he never says oops. So I never lost the faith. And it just so happened to be at one of, if not the biggest prestigious schools, these past couple of years, doing really great in, football, making playoffs and stuff like that. Um, so wind up taking, the official visit that Friday and then committing that Friday. It was crazy. I just can't thank Coach Lanning and Coach Maringer especially for, believing in me and, seeing his vision, that he had since high school. And just feels like, just feels right again, so very
Yeah.
excited.
Totally, man. And so you mentioned you said you were with your girlfriend and you got that call back and you thought, well, this can't be good because it was so quick. But when you're in that waiting game mode of like the portal, obviously I was never in it. I don't know what it's like, but I feel like it's a lot of contingents. Like, yes, it can happen, but this has to happen first. So whether it was 30 minutes or I don't know how long that period of time was, but like, what were you feeling just like waiting? Like, you want to go to Oregon, but you don't know what's happened. Like, you just have to wait.
Yeah, I still wanted to, not have all my eggs in one basket, just simply off the fact that, they pretty much, had a kid on hold and it was off of his decision whether I was in or out. Um, so I pretty much felt like a bunch of pressure. I was like, there's just no way like I'm going to be able to go here. Um, just off the simple fact that like, I played D in this past year and it was real shell shock. It was a real shell shock moment. Just simply, Coach Lanning taking that, chance on me, Coach Manager taking that chance on me, kid from, across the country, at another school with, a couple years of eligibility left. So it was a lot of pressure. It was a lot of weight on my chest, so
Yeah.
it felt relieving for that call to be the right one.